Hello, my name still is Pavlo, and be prepared for your daily dose of Ukrainian accent. Today we are talking about HiBy R2 second generation. And if I'd be a regular YouTube reviewer, I'd probably made some preview for this video with my photo with some idiotic grimace on my face, like portraying super surprise or something like that, and some strong rhetorical question like, is it even legal or something like that. But I won't do that because I'm not an idiot and I don't treat my audience as idiots. So, HiBy R2 II surprised me pretty much by its price to quality ratio, or simply speaking by its value. And actually delivering crazy value is typical for recent HiBy models. For example, I think every of you knows about R6 Pro Mark II. Really great sound with some limitations due to physics, but anyway, great sound with really low price. And the R2 Mark II is also great player, but it plays in much more affordable segment. Its price on HiBy's website is about $90. You can get white, red or black version. But at the same time, amount of features it delivers and the sound quality are pretty great. And that makes it not only a good choice for entry-level player, but also as a gluing device that can do many things besides just music playing. But more of that, about that a bit later. So it builds on top of Nginx processor with HiBy's own firmware, and it uses 9219 ESS all-in-one chip. It has only single-ended output, but at the same time it delivers 90 milliwatts for that output, and it's enough for the vast majority of earphones and even some easy to drive full-size headphones. So it's not created to drive something like power-hungry planars or sort of. And as usual for HiBy, you can get some bundles with case, with earphones and so on. So let's just go and dive into this box. About 2 years ago I already reviewed the first version of R2 and it was also nice. But now we have like a huge vacuum on the market of affordable players, and that makes this model even more interesting. So package is simple, some basic features are listed here, and what I can say about extra features: it supports MQA up to 8x, some DSD, high res, battery lifetime is up to 15 hours, which is also pretty nice. And traditionally HiBy did their best to add some extra features like book reader, voice recorder and stuff like that. I don't think it's like something super useful, but it's better to have some feature and not use it than vice versa. In the accessories set you get nice half case. Let me unpack it without doing too much damage, but they have really strong glue. Here it is. I think it's more than viable to use it, but of course if you want some better case you can get it. Short USB Type-C cable, some papers and the protective screen, but actually as far as I see it has protective screen applied from the factory. It's actually scratched a little bit, but it's not a screen, it's just the film on top of the screen. So as you can see, accessory set is pretty good. You're getting everything you need just to start using it. In terms of design, everything is pretty good here. As you can see it in the case. Case is protecting it from some drops, but of course if you will be unlucky, it's easy to break the screen, unfortunately. So let me pull it out. So there is a bit of simplification compared with the first version, because frame made of some reliable and sturdy plastic, not the metal one, but at the same time it allowed to keep price low, and also it made player more lightweight. So despite of having noticeable size, it's really lightweight and comfortable, so you can carry it everywhere. If you get some clip, you can carry it on the shoulder or in the pocket, so really nice in terms of portability. Here is comparison with Shenling M1S, and as you can see, it's slightly shorter, what is this dimension? It's smaller in width, it's smaller in terms of thick, but at the same time it's a bit taller than M1S. But main screens are almost identical, plus minus. I didn't compare the specs. Both have this clicky wheel to control, but it's not clickable for the R2 II. So in terms of controls, we have single-ended out, charging port, and of course it can be used as a digital transport, it can be used as digital to analog converter, all that features it has, and pretty long battery lifetime. Micro SD slot, on top we have microphone hole and on-off button with LED indicator around it. And here we have volume control. We can rotate it. It's encoder with nice well-defined clicks. All clicks are registered really well, and we have 3 button controls. So, and also the same as I was speaking about R6 II, you can see that actually I'd expect this dual button be forward and backward track, and this one is play pause, but HiBy decided to go to the traditional position of buttons, so this one is play pause and those two are like tracks navigation. Back panel, simple and accurate, and the front panel, you can see screen. So let's go to now playing screen. Let me select at least some track to show you all. So let it be Moonspell. So pretty good viewing angles, not perfect brightness, but I think under the bright sun it will be pretty visible. Pretty good resolution for this size, nice responsiveness and click taps registering. Of course, I'd like to see bigger screen, and it has a lot of free space at the bottom part of the player, but let's not forget that we're speaking about $90 player, and for $90 I think it's really great offer in all aspects, and including the design. Really nice in handling and by feeling in hand and other criterias. In terms of firmware, it's traditional HiBy code base that they use for their non-Android players. It's well developed with time, it's polished by many releases, so you can see it. And actually now I turned the maximum screen brightness, so it's it will remain pretty visible even after the bright sun, so nice brightness of the screen. Here is the indicator top bar with current volume, showing that it uses coaxial output because nothing is connected. By default it thinks that it's coaxial, we need to plug headphones. Then current time, Wi-Fi indicator and battery indicator with percent. If I swipe from top to bottom, here is the micro control panel where we can change volume, activate Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and HiBy Link. HiBy Link is its remote control feature. See current track name, and also track navigation, useful when we somewhere in the menus. So here is album cover, track name, so a bit of empty space, but I think it's okay. And here we can add track to favorites, then play order, tracks navigation, and additional menu where we can see current playlist, added to favorites or playlist, equalizer, album, properties, and delete, so all familiar items. Here you can see just a regular linear equalizer, but it also has MSEB present too. Swiping from right to left reveals the main menu. So here is music media library, there is a search, also you can select a lot of playback settings. Here is MSEB, one of the killer features of HiBy's firmwares, because here you can tweak the sound, not like moving some frequency bands, but selecting more understandable things like overall sound temperature or note thickness and other things. It doesn't it's a good way to change the sound without spoiling it too much. And also linear equalizer, updating database, automatic or manual music update, play mode, output selection. If there will be something connected to this port, you can select headphone output or line out. Also there is DSD output mode, gain compensation, resume player from last. Actually I prefer it to be set to position. Gateless playback, maximum digital volume output you can limit and set this volume. Power on volume, it's should remember it or no. Crossfade, actually I don't see any sense in crossfading tracks. And gain, low and high, replay gain, channel balance, digital filter. To enable these items we need to plug something. Play through folders, through albums, repeat function. If you need, if you for example learning English or some other language, you can select this AB repeat function. Speed play, and also automatically transition to the playback interface when you select some track. You can see all your tracks in one list, browse by files, by albums. Really nice and pretty responsive scrolling. It's not perfect, but actually it's one of the best scrolling implementations on these small players. As you can see, there is a noticeable delay in album cover loading, but it's tiny player powered by pretty tiny processor. List by artist, by genres, and by album artists, so everything you can desire present here. Then stream media, title, and QBOZ. QOBOZ, not sure about the pronunciation. It's really basic. You need to scan this to log in, and actually, in my opinion, it's an improvement over the previous process where you'll have to tap buttons on the keyboard. And it's just a basic only online streaming. You can listen to music, but no offline feature here. Wireless, so Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, HiBy Link, import music via Wi-Fi, DLNA, and AirPlay. I like that they gathered everything in one single place. In the menu it looks really accurate and neat, so I like it. Just a basic sound recorder, sometimes can be useful, and also book reader. Not sure what can be the purpose here, but actually somewhere on exams you can load some cheat sheets here. And the system settings, here you can select language, brightness, backlight time, you can select theme color, or you can set manually some custom one. Font size, actually good idea to swap it to big, it's more convenient. USB mode, limit USB current or not, time settings, idle timer, sleep timer if you want it. Actually be careful not swipe at accident, it's easy to perform the back swipe sometimes. So USB mode, current limited, idle timer, sleep timer if you need, display battery percentage, standby mode, inline remote, status LED you can disable, button and volume operation when screen is locked, screensaver settings, screen rotation if you need it, and other things like factory reset, information about, and so on. No, don't delete anything. So, as you can see, firmware is basic but really saturated with features, so it can be convenient as digital transport, or like it can work as a Bluetooth receiver and has a lot of that good and useful features. And of course about the sound. So first thing to notice here, you can alter sound pretty noticeably with equalizer and with MSEB. So if you'd like to change it, you have a really big amount of variations, really big space of variations where you can get different results. So I will describe the sound with MSEB off. And also keep in mind that it's $90 player, so of course it's not logical to expect something that much more expensive models can do. So I won't repeating for its price constantly. So it's a good, it's a player with a good resolution, of course not great, but pretty nice. Slightly recessed, or actually not recessed, but probably more subdued is a bit better fitting word here. Treble and nice control and dynamic sound with good stage and technicalities. So bass go deep goes to the maximum depth and delivers nice punch and amount of weight and other things. Of course it's not trying to be emphasized, and because of that you're getting even that small details that help you to get the sense of real instrument. It's not great in this aspect, but performing pretty well. Nicely balanced bass that both giving you a foundation for the sound and at the same time entertain you when it's necessary. So, first example. It went to sleep when I was preparing for this part, so a bit of additional words while it's booting up. Actually, what I also like, it boot ups pretty fast, so good optimization of everything here. So it's example track, it's Evenin by Hugh Laurie, and it's still sad for me that Hugh Laurie released only 2 albums. So nice bass line here and mid frequencies and treble of course, but bass line is like a bit highlighted by the record, and the player actually not overemphasize it, which is pretty good, so it sounds natural and well balanced, so enjoyable and at the same time not overwhelming or something like that. Mid frequencies are nice, detailed, without attempts to do something. They can sound a bit warmer because you're getting a bit less treble presence, but in general actually weight distribution is done really properly. Emotions are nice as well as dynamics, and also it builds a nice stage. It's slightly above average in width and in depth, so it's not huge, but it's accurately built and it's a really good thing. It doesn't sound like flat like some cheap players do. It has depth layering, maybe not perfect separated, but nice. I like both male and female vocal here. Still a bit lacking airiness, but it's because of subdued treble, and if you'd like you can fix that easily. And example for the mid frequencies, it's Northern King's Hello. Actually I really liked that Northern King super band, but only their first album, it was called Reborn, or first one was Reborn and second was Rethroned, but better check in Wikipedia order of albums. So first one was great, second one was like just so-so, and Hello it's great combination of metal, familiar melody and great vocal and orchestral part, so enjoyable cover of Lionel Richie. And it requires good performance for orchestra, for the heavy parts, for all vocal present here, and this player delivers it well. Treble, as I've said, is a bit subdued, not too much, but just a bit, probably to make sound more comfortable, especially like for the entry-level listeners, or how to call regular people that are not audiophiles, because of course audiophilic, natural, really resolving, detail-focused sound requires some usage. And if you like more treble, you can easily get that, but by default resolution of treble is good, extension is just slightly above average, but saturation with overtones is pretty nice. I'd prefer a bit more airiness, but that's not in the default settings, but you can easily get that. You know, it's really I feel sometimes really stupid to describe sound in HiBy players, because with MSEB you can alter representation in a really wide range. And in the more expensive players, of course, we can spoke about things as treble layering, naturalness, and some stuff like that. But for the affordable player, it's technical, it's detailed, and the rest you can tweak whatever you'd like. So let's go for the example for the treble. It's Snarky Puppy, big ugly, but it can be any Snarky Puppy track. It's saturated with different high frequency instruments, percussions, overtones and stuff. Of course it requires much better layering, much better technicality, bit more presence, but it sounds pretty enjoyable. And actually, if you didn't notice, it's HiBy Crystal 6 that I will be covering in some future. So, you know, really great sound balance to listen on the go. It's not some giant killer, but it's super honest player for its price, delivering well balanced and enjoyable sound signature. In terms of pairings, of course, it's mainly created for the in-ear monitors. 90 milliwatts for the output power is not superb, but at the same time I can't say that like it's really bad, because with sensitive in-ear monitors you'll get almost black background, and with not super sensitive it's still enough to drive them. For the full-size headphones, of course, it's not as universal as with in-ear monitors, but with sensitive full-size headphones you can also get an enjoyable level of the sound. Speaking about the comparisons, actually I'd say that it's a step forward comparing to the regular R2. It's a bit more detailed, more refined, and more balanced, like more mature in terms of sound. And HiBy R3, last generation, I don't remember the exact attribution, Pro Saber or Pro S, whatever that model suffix has, it's even more detailed with better control and more power. Compared with Shanling M0, I'd say that this one sounds a bit more refined, especially in the mids area, and a bit more balanced in terms of weight balancing. But difference is not huge, still they are from the same price tier, they have same system on chip, and they have similar output power in the single-ended mode, but to my ears this one sounds a bit better, and it also has much better ergonomics. So it's bigger, of course, but you're getting bigger screen, hardware buttons, regulator, and more features. And Shanling M2S, oh sorry, it's M1S, and previous was M0 Pro. So in M0 Pro and M1S, it's better in terms of driving power, noticeably better. It has balanced output, so with some full-size headphones, of course, except the most sensitive ones, you'll get better results here. and with sensitive in-ear monitors difference will be much less audible. You'll get a bit better stage here, but not a huge difference. But this one has more features, but here you're getting more power, you're getting metal shell, so a lot of pro and cons, it's hard to describe. But to summarize this part, I really like R2 second generation. To me it's just the most balanced, the most universal affordable player with best price to quality ratio and tons of features. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.